You're not stuck. You're fighting a version of yourself that you don't understand. The voice in your head, it isn't you. Every time you mess up and you beat yourself up, that voice, it didn't start with you. You ever do something out of character or something that you didn't like that you did, and then you just go into this whole thing of just beating yourself down? I've been caught doing that. I'm going to explain in just a moment. My name is Mark, aka Create Lifestyle, and I help people, especially those over 50, break out of outdated beliefs so they can create freedom, abundance, peace of mind, residual income, and leave a powerful legacy. I call it breaking out of the matrix. And today I'm going a little deeper than I usually go. I want to talk about something that's called shadow work. What is that? That is a phrase that was coined by Carl Jung. He was a psychologist some time ago. Anyway, he talked about the shadow work, and it's the hidden part of you that's been running your life in the background. Here we are again. We're back to this programming that we've been running on since birth, since our very young ages, since it was installed in our early days, perhaps by our parents, our family, our teachers. Some of it even come from previous generations. These are voices in your head that's programmed you to say things like, I'm not good enough. I always mess up. And then you didn't create that, you absorbed it. And now this becomes your internal system. And this is something that we have to deal with. I remember one time, I have many examples because I've been through this, I've lived in this, I've been stuck in this for a very long time. But I remember one time I was driving and a person cut me off and I gave them kind of a look. And then they ended up giving me a half a peace sign. You've seen those before, right? A half a peace sign. But anyway, I kind of lost control of myself a little bit. And my internal characters just started flaring up. And I did something that just was just way out of character for me. I started tailgating these people really bad. I hate to admit this because this is not good. But I caught myself in the middle of it and I pulled back and I was like, why did I do that? And then that whole incident, it bothered me for days and days. And every now and then that kind of thing still pops up. And then it turns into guilt and self-sabotage. It's just these programs that are trapped inside of you, and then you just come back with this whole thing, I'm not good enough, and it ties into all your old beliefs, your old wounds, your old identity, and then you just start running on this autopilot. And I went into this whole self-punishment thing, and that kind of goes on and has gone on in many areas. Anyway, Carl Jung, he calls this your shadow. These are the dark parts of you that you don't accept and you don't deal with. These are literally like voices in your head. So shadow work is a whole subject that you can dive deep into. Google up Carl Jung and look at shadow work. Because shadow work, it turns into awareness, not avoidance. When you stop repressing it and you stop running from it, you observe it. And then you ask yourself, where did this come from? Who taught me this? And then that's where the separation begins to happen. So understand that you're not your mistakes. The biggest trap is saying that I made a mistake, because I made a mistake becomes I am a mistake. And then that kind of destroys your identity. The truth is that we're learning, we're evolving. So we have to break out of this matrix from within. This matrix is not just external, it's just programming. It's these old rules where you have to be perfect, where you don't fail, where you have to go out and earn some love. I didn't want to just say, hey, learn to love yourself. We've all heard that. That's too surface. But underneath of all that is this deeper layer called shadow work and understanding these deep, dark parts of yourself, having conversations with them. So when you do the shadow work, you break out of that. So if I'm making any sense, stick with me, like, subscribe, follow, share, and understand that you were programmed. You're not broken. Your shadow is not your enemy. It's unhealed awareness. So when you observe it and you understand it, you can separate from it and you can take your power back. So I hope I'm making sense. Again, Mark, aka Create Lifestyle. Always like to say the only way out is in. Peace, one love, and control your destiny.